In the annals of American history, there are names that represent more than just a career. They represent an era. They represent a standard of excellence so absolute it borders on the divine. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. To the world, he was his Airness, the man who turned gravity into a suggestion and the basketball court into a theater of the impossible. But as the lights of the United Center dimmed for the final time in 1998, a new chapter began. A chapter guarded by high gates, private jets, and a silence that only a billionaire can afford. Tonight, we step past the highlights and the championships. We look beyond the Be Like Mike commercials and the Gatorade bottles. We explore the evolution of a man who conquered the world of sport, only to build a secretive empire that has made him one of the wealthiest men on the planet. This is the story of the rise, the reign, and the mysterious, opulent life of Michael Jordan. Part 2, The Rise, the Architect of Ambition. It began not in a city of skyscrapers, but in the coastal quiet of Wilmington, North Carolina. Michael was the fourth of 5 children, born to Dolores and James Jordan. His father, James, was a man of discipline, a General Electric supervisor who instilled in his son the value of the earned dollar. The fire that would later consume the NBA was lit here, in a dirt patch backyard. Michael wasn't the best athlete in the house. That title belonged to his brother Larry. Every afternoon was a war. Every loss was a scar. It was here that Michael developed his tongue out, facial contortion, a habit mimicked from his father while working on the family car, a sign of total unwavering concentration. The legend of Michael Jordan is often told as a straight line to the top. But the most important moment of his life was a rejection. In 1978, as a sophomore at Laney High, Michael was deemed too short for the varsity team. He went home, locked himself in his room, and wept. But when he emerged, he wasn't just a boy anymore. He was a machine. A growth spurt followed, but it was the growth of his will that mattered most. By the time he hit the floor for the University of North Carolina, the world began to take notice. In the final seconds of the 1982 NCAA championship, a freshman named Michael Jordan took the shot. As the ball swished through the net, the boy from Wilmington disappeared and a star was born. The NBA was calling, and it would never be the same again. Part 3, The Glory Years, The King in the North. When Michael arrived in Chicago in 1984, the Bulls were a struggling franchise, in a city that preferred its monsters, on the football field. Within months, he had turned the stadium into a cathedral. He didn't just play basketball, he performed it. The early 90s were his masterpiece. The bad boy Pistons had tried to break him with physical brutality, but Jordan simply became harder. In 1991, 1992, and 1993, he achieved the first three-peat. He was more than an athlete. He was a global phenomenon. This was the era of the Dream Team, the era where the Jumpman logo became more recognizable than the flags of nations. Jordan wasn't just winning games, he was winning the culture. He was the most famous person on earth. But behind the scenes, the weight of the crown was beginning to show. The constant scrutiny, the gambling rumors, and the relentless pressure to be perfect were hollowing him out. Part 4, The Struggles, Shadows in the Spotlight. In July of 1993, Michael's world shattered. His father, James, his mentor, his best friend, was murdered in a random act of violence at a highway rest stop. The man who had been the foundation of Michael's life was gone. Broken and exhausted, Michael did the unthinkable. He walked away. He traded the hardwood for the dirt of a minor league baseball diamond, chasing a dream his father had always held for him. The world watched in confusion as the king of basketball struggled to hit a curveball in Birmingham, Alabama. But the fire couldn't be stayed. His return in 1995 led to a second three-peat, a period of dominance that culminated in the 1998 Last Dance. Yet, even in victory, there were fractures. His legendary competitiveness often bordered on tyranny. He punched teammates like Steve Kerr in practice. He froze out rivals like Isaiah Thomas from the Olympic stage. To be Michael Jordan was to be a warrior, and warriors do not make peace. Part V, The Transformation, The Billionaire's Bastion. When Michael retired for the final time in 2003, many expected him to fade into a quiet elder statesman role. They were wrong. Michael Jordan didn't retire. He pivoted. He stopped being a player and became an owner, a mogul, and eventually, the first billionaire athlete in history. Today, Jordan's life is a masterclass in controlled privacy. He resides primarily in a 28,000 square foot estate in Jupiter, Florida, tucked away in an ultra-exclusive community where photographers are non-existent. He sold his majority stake in the Charlotte Hornets in 23 for a staggering $3 billion, a return on investment that cemented his status as a financial titan. He spends his days on his private golf course, the Grove Vanitude, and his nights overseeing his luxury tequila brand, Cinco. He is a man who values time above all else. In a rare 2025 interview, he remarked, "The most valuable asset I have is time." But even in this gilded seclusion, the game remains. In late 2025, Jordan surprised the world by joining NBC Sports as a special contributor for the return of the NBA on NBC. The legend is returning to the screen, but on his terms and from his throne. Part 6, the conclusion, the eternal echo. What is the legacy of Michael Jordan? Is it the 6 rings? The 32,000 points? Or is it something more intangible? Jordan changed the DNA of success. He proved that an athlete could be a brand could be an empire, and an empire could be a legacy. He taught us that failure is just the fuel for the next win. The secretive billionaire in Florida is no longer the kid who was cut from varsity, nor is he the man who flew through the air in Chicago. He is something more. He is the standard, and as long as a child somewhere laces up a pair of sneakers and dreams of greatness, the ghost of number 23 will be right there, hovering just above the rim, because legends never really land. They just wait for the next generation to try and reach them. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the life of the legend, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the golden era of the NBA. Would you like me to profile the Laker great, Magic Johnson, next? Or perhaps the Black Mamba himself, Kobe Bryant? Let us know in the comments below.